This is a mountain in the middle of Spain where deer, foxes, wild boar and wild horses live in freedom, organising their lives as they wish. A long lifetime of working with horses and watching wild ones has shown me that we could spare ourselves and our horses a great deal of suffering, death even, if we understood them better, because our ways of keeping and training them are often not suited to their nature. The surest way of understanding an animal's nature is by studying it in its natural environment. So I released Pochocas, Basque ponies, which normally live free on mountains anyway, to live and breed without any interference at all, so people could observe and study them. It's the only such project in Europe. Like all other feral horses, they live in family bands, formed by mares grouped with a stallion, who helps them raise their foals in peace and security. They're held together by bonds of affection and by the way they eat and sleep and move in synchrony together. This is Pincho, our senior stallion, with his long-term love, Indar. They've been together for 9 years now. Horses don't like changing partners once I've found suitable ones. Those bonds are expressed and maintained by a horse's affiliative behaviour, which develops and changes as they grow older. The first, of course, is that vital bond between mother and foal. This foal's only a few hours old. Mare usually stays away from the band for the birth until she's past the placenta, so our foal is bound to bond with her. But also as young and bewildered by her first foal, she went back to the security of the band a bit earlier. Foals can't understand what they're seeing for the first couple of days. They get to know their mothers mainly by smell and feel. For Osto, the smell of birth on her new foal strengthens her maternal affection. Osto takes her to meet her father Chito, who warns young Tormentos not to interfere. New foals automatically follow any large moving body, so it's up to Osto to keep her close until she learns for herself. Oh, brave new world. It's all unknown. She's got a lot to learn. Like how to get to the ground, which needs practice. She wants to put her head under Osto's body, though why or what she should do next is still a mystery. When she happens to put her head in the right place, she soon finds reward to guide her in the future. Eki foaled yesterday, so her foal's more certain where to look, guided by the smell round the udder. But she's still uncertain about the exact technique for extracting milk. Mothers offer a wealth of sensations. Eki helps her foal by resting the opposite leg, pushing the udder towards her. When she gets round to weaning the foal 9 months from now, she just rests the other leg so the foal can't reach the udder. Bushy's prickle, another new sensation. Galloping comes easily, but foals often take days to discover trotting. With so much learning to assimilate, sleep's essential. Eki warns others to stay away. She lost her first foal last year and is particularly possessive about this one. Threats and aggressions drive others away for different reasons. They're not an expression of dominance or power. They signal, "Go away, you're bothering me." Perhaps to protect a bond, or just to be left in peace. She already assumes the foal will follow her anywhere. These challenges develop a foal's proprioception and balance really fast. Isa is followed by her new son and his 2-year-old brother Anka. Her stallion Gabon follows too, but she finds her way blocked. Anka starts playing with his little brother. Siblings often share close bonds. Although Anka seems quite rough, Isa knows he's only playing and won't hurt you. She's 27 years old and wise. Itaya and her daughter Birka came to live with the black stallion Zabal last year. He treated young Birka as his daughter and refused to mate with her, so she had an adventure elsewhere. But Itaya's black filly, who's a few days older than Birka's colt, is his first foal. The filly's eating her mother's droppings, infecting herself with the intestinal flora that her digestion and health will depend on. They add to their repertoire of new behaviours every day and like practicing them to perfection. He's particularly pleased with rolling. Itaya's filly hasn't discovered that yet. But she's curious about him. He looks and smells very interesting, to his surprise. Birka warns her off. Birka's only 2 and less confident than her mother Itaya about her baby's security. The filly's drawn into synchronizing with their movement, but she's wary of Birka now. She makes this snapping movement, which isn't a sign of submission, but of being a bit overwhelmed socially, as if needing the comfort of suckling. Zabal identifies his mare's dung. He's a bit too close to Itaya there. And marks it with urine, which shows other stallions she's with him. Stallions are the family's protectors. They don't want young foals to be disturbed. They don't yet know how to make friends. All their social reactions are directed towards the mother. Coordination needs practice too. Phlegmon, when a horse raises his upper lip to force air into a blind sac in the nose, is another way of investigating smells that the normal nose doesn't pick up. For horses, smell, not sight, is the main way of identifying things. Foals learn by investigating, exploring, making mistakes, and finding out what they can do. They're self-taught, so they learn whatever their particular surroundings offer them, in whatever order that comes to them. Splendid Herbie. Sons copy fathers, but upside-down mothers surprised him. Zerua gently reminds the colt she's not his mother. He understands straight away. Cross in front of her, line up parallel facing backwards, reach for the udder, nudge to release milk. It's a standard suckling pattern that the colt gradually perfecting. Textures, tastes, smells, ways to use things. Everything needs investigating. Zulo is Zerua's yearling daughter. The colt examines her in just the same way as he does his mother. The only way he knows how to interact with her. It also foreshadows colt play and courtship. After a moment of uncertainty, they rush back for the comfort of the teat. Not for milk this time, just comfort. When foals grow teeth, they make mistakes suckling. The second reminder is stronger. He wonders why Laurie found that little tree so interesting, but he doesn't get it. Plants need different eating techniques. Laurie seems to think her foal needs protecting against his father Herbie, perhaps because she thought Herbie woke him up. Itaya's gone back to her mother Inda and her father Pincho. Two bands got mixed up in the bushes by the water hole, and she got nervous and followed Inda's familiar backside. Pincho examines Dun. He smells it's a male, so he marks it with his own. Stallions aren't territorial, but knowing where each other is avoids trouble. More athletic experiments. Itaya resumes her former close bond with her mother, which is unusual. Stallions reject their daughters when these first come in season, so they break with their families and find another stallion. That's why Itaya went to Zabal last year, so the filly, of course, is Zabal's. The filly's already been warned not to barge into other space thoughtlessly, so she explores where the limits are. Respect for space is an important concept in peaceful social living and in moving together without colliding. Zabal tries to recover his daughter and Itaya, but Pincho won't have it. He drives them away to somewhere more peaceful, but Zabal follows. He can track them by smell. Sabal's persistent, keeping an eye on his former family while Pincher takes them away or drives him off. Sabal's only 6, a novice stallion who's lost his first family. After his ding-dong with Pincher, he knows he's no match for the experienced old guard, but he's not giving up. The mares huddle and touch when there's tension in the air. Pincher doesn't want battles, he'd rather go somewhere peaceful. But he's fed up with being stalked. Pincher's constantly aware of where Zabal is. Indar hasn't foaled this year. Perhaps that helps concentrate her affection on Itaya, and on the filly too, now that she knows how to approach her grandmother with respect. Pincher's fatherly protection includes the filly, although she isn't his. Cheetah's gone ahead to check for danger as the band moves into a new grazing area. Stallions normally follow their bands, but if they think there might be trouble ahead, they go in front. Eki's wandered on with them, leaving her foal asleep. After the first few days, mares assume that their only duty is to provide food and that foals know to follow them or that they'll be retrieved by the stallion. But Cheetah can't be ahead and behind at the same time. Eki's foal shows she's learnt about respecting space and can recognise who needs avoiding. As they mature, mares get fussier about space, perhaps because it's so important when they're defending new foals. By 2 months old, foals look for food and relationships beyond their mothers and form friendships. Between fillies, they're based on closeness and synchrony. They don't play fight like colts. These 2 fillies seem bent on matching each other. At the same age, Esau's foal has a close attachment to his brother. Male bonds are often closer, more physical and more persistent than female ones. On reaching sexual maturity, all adolescents leave their family bands. Avoid inbreeding. Young Zorzi lives with Gabon's band. She's coming in season for the first time, which makes males smell attractive to her. But Gabon ignores her, so she goes to smell out a stallion for herself. It's Cheeto who finds her. He checks to make sure she's in season. Flemin tells him she is, and he's right. Dispersing fillies get bred immediately, but colts have a long apprenticeship before they have the skills and constancy to be stallions. So they roam around together. These two 4-year-old bachelors aren't yet old enough to maintain their own bands, but they're great friends, buddies in exploration and adventure. Being a stallion needs knowledge that takes years to acquire. They need to know how to avoid disturbances, how to deal with other males, to watch for foal's safety, what places are best avoided, where to drive the mares in an emergency, how to court a mare, and when they can relax. They also have to be constant in their protection of a band, something that only comes with maturity at 7 or 8. Male bonds are forged by play, developing their communication skills. They're often deep and long-lasting, disturbed only when females come along. Family bands usually stay within their chosen areas called home ranges, but bachelors wander everywhere checking up on social changes and developments in the family bands. Beatty is another 4-year-old bachelor who's gotten to the stage of being more interested in searching for mares than in colt play. He's lucky to find Putsu, who's also left her natal band. So they're enjoying an adolescent romance. His social skills haven't caught up with his ambitions. He treats her more as a playmate than a sexual one. These teenage romances often fail because the would-be stallion isn't constant enough. But if he is, they last a lifetime. Busy's a bit young yet. Zorro's a 6-year-old bachelor. He found the two mares Beachy and Ispy during the winter, when food's scarce and the band spread out more. Neither has a foal. There were very few this year, probably because of the 2-year drought. So they don't need a stallion's protection so much. But Zorro follows them in the hope of persuading them. But one day they all met handsome Cheeto, who's much older and more experienced, and the mares abandoned poor Zorro. Mares choose their stallion. They need him to watch for danger while they concentrate on eating well to feed their foals. Cheeto struck lucky this year. 3 pairs of new mares have joined him. Beachy and Ispy show their friendship by staying close together, sharing their space. So do Ordine and Hausi, two fillies who met after leaving their family bands. Tormantus also left her family to find herself a mate, but her yearling sister Quacos came too. They're new to Trito's band and don't know how the others react yet. Insecurity always increases affectionate exchanges, as it does in us. The closer the bond, the more they stay together and synchronize their actions together. At less than a horse's length apart, they're sharing their individual space, which they only do when they have a close, affectionate relationship. That includes using the other's body to remove flies. But Beachy resents Quackus within her space. Beachy got lost when she was 6 months old and lived alone in the woods for more than a year. She missed out on that experimental period of adolescent friendships, which may be why she's found it so hard to make friends or integrate into a band. She's 8, but Ispy's her first real friend. So when Ispy's interested in who young Quacos is and moves Tormantus away, Beachy intervenes to protect that special bond. Now Quacos approaches Ordine, who's younger and not so fussy about her space. Quacos relates to her as she did to her mother, head underneath, or to the groin. She does the same to her sister, Tormantus. She's still only a big foal. Grazing heads together often initiates friendship. Tormantus and Ordine are both young maiden mares. Mares often choose to associate with others of the same age and stage of life. Quacos, who's only a year old, is more open to friendly approaches from Eki's foal. Eki's foal does the cycling sequence perfectly. Duck under the mare's neck, cross in front of her, line up parallel facing backwards, reach under the groin. These moves come to express affection in later relationships. As well as individual allegiances, there are also band allegiances. They all eat and move together, their march order and spacing reflecting their individual bonds. On the move, anyone can go first, there are no fixed leaders. But the stallion usually comes last, retrieving straggling foals and protecting the rear. Unchi, at 7, is in his first year as a stallion. Joined by Bidaya and her son Bida in the winter, he's learning stallion skills like how to entertain and educate playful feeders without using his greater strength or losing patience. Colts enjoy rough and tumble games, which teach them who's stronger without fighting. And part of a father's duties is to teach his sons how to interact with other bachelors or stallions. Stepfathers do it too. Stallions like colts. The water holds where several bands' home ranges overlap. Rolling in water, then dust, makes a fly-proof coat. When they all roll in the same place, they acquire a band smell, uniting them. They've disappeared into the bushes when Pincher's band comes down for water and a communal bath. Pincher sees off Sabal, but the mare sense something else in the bushes, so Pincher goes to investigate. It's Unchi, who drives his family away from Pincher, but they run into his mares and Sabal. In the heat of the moment, Unchi rather loses his head. When everything calms down and they've sorted themselves out, Sabal finds himself with Birka again, but she rejects his advances. Zabal goes back to his pursuit of his daughter while Birka wanders alone again, near Erbi's band. Zula's still suckling. Zrua hasn't had a foal this year, so she hasn't weaned her yet. Birka doesn't want Erbi either. This is not a good situation. Mares who wander alone with their foals often lose them. These disturbances upset the foal's feeding schedule. Cheeto spots her, but he's already got so many responsibilities he doesn't want any more, so he chases her away. A good stallion isn't just aware of his responsibilities, he's aware of his limitations too. Black Belts has been investigating Cheeto's band, so Cheeto chases him back to his band before returning to his own. Typically, after a disturbance, stallions gather their bands and herd them to somewhere more peaceful, with this head-down posture that the mares recognise. The constant conflict between Pincho and Zabal is wearing everybody down. Zabal's trying to work out where he's allowed to be while anxiously supervising his daughter. Horses don't like conflicts, they work to resolve them. Zabal respects Pincho's idea of distance, but Pincho has to remind him from time to time. Now Laurie's colt has woken up to find himself with the wrong band. That's Pincho, not Erby. Where's Laurie? The filly thinks it's a game. Zabal intervenes to retrieve his daughter. Pincho's anger at Zabal is cooling to tolerance as he realises that Zabal could save him some work while he enjoys the mare's company. Squeals sound furious, but they're just warnings not to come too close. Pincho, Zabal and Gabon in a 3-stallion meeting over a pile of dung. Anka and his brother watch how Gabon deals with the situation, another learning opportunity, while Isar ignores these male concerns and looks for peace. Pincho goes off, leaving Zabal to deal with Gabon, who's looking after his family. They meet over another pile of dung. Sorcies returned to Gabon's band after her sexual adventures, just as Birka returned to Zabal last year. Young mares often spend a couple of years deciding which band they belong in. Gabon and Zabal find more dung, but agree not to investigate it together. But Gabon positions himself between the other stallions and his band, with his stepsons watching carefully. The important thing about dung for a male is whose smell is uppermost, because by marking it, he's advertising his presence. From their meetings over dung, stallions learn to recognise whose dung is whose by smell. Gabon's a gentle, peaceful soul, doing well in his first year as a stallion. It's notable that old Isar, in all her wisdom, has chosen him this year. Little Quackus has already come in season and is driven to restless wandering. She's found Erby's band where Laurie's foal takes a precocious interest in her. Laurie sends her away. She doesn't want to share Erby with the newcomer. Erby catches a whiff of Mare in season and asks Laurie, but it isn't her, it's young Quackus, who stands for him but staggers under his weight. Zulo goes to her father while the foal pursues Quackus, whom Erby rounds out. But Laurie doesn't approve of this underage Lolita. When Laurie's not watching, the foal follows Quackus into the bushes, where he tests her urine and marks it like a grown-up chap. He even makes tentative sexual advances to her. But she isn't impressed. Zulo again comes to her father, snapping like a small foal. She seems to want to calm Herbie down whenever he gets excited. This foal isn't giving up. Tormentus has increasingly sought the company of Ordine and Hausi, who are more her age and, like her, haven't been pregnant yet. Tito smells that there's a mare in season and thinks it's beachy. Flamen detects the smell of a mare in season in her urine. But since mares wander about, stallions make mistakes about which mare. Tito's convinced it's beachy, but she says absolutely not. He comes back, nickering to attract whichever mare it is, and Ordine offers herself. But when he smells her, he doesn't think she's ready. Hausi's interested. But Tormentus keeps interfering, jealous of her new friendships. Finally, he realised that Hausi's today's certainty. And here's Tormentus again. He courts her standing perpendicular to her shoulder, where she can't kick or strike him if he's wrong, but he isn't. Ordine is interested too, but his nose tells him not to bother. She may be experiencing a false heat, induced by her friend Hausi's real heat. Experienced stallions know the difference. His urine contains a substance that neutralizes the smell of season in hers. Herbie and Pincho meet. Stamps and squeals warn the other to be careful. They don't send him away like aggressions do. Without any mares nearby, they have a friendly play. Relationships between stallions aren't fixed, they depend on the situation. Both Zulu and Lorry express their affection for Herbie in the head-to-groin position adopted by foals suckling, often affirming their bond by appreciating the other's smell. Pincho's band is right next door, and when Pincho comes to investigate, the situation's tense because he's too near Herbie's foal. Almost all stallion confrontations are brief, noisy, and inconclusive, because neither stallion is trying to win anything. They're not battles or even competitions, but symbolic ways of showing determination to protect the integrity of their bands. Yawning relaxes the jaw after tense moments. Zulu again goes to Erby after his upset, while the little colt also shows his filial bond to his father. Zulu's using the same affectionate gestures as a foal towards his mother. When Lori comes to rest with her stallion, the colt immerses himself in the comfortable protection from both his parents at once. As a band moves into a rest period, horses draw together more. Feelings about the inviolability of individual space fall or rise with activity levels. So resting provides opportunities for the reaffirmation of bonds through closeness and breathing in the scent of loved ones. Tormentus takes the liberty of resting her head on Ordine's back. Affection is indulgent. Tormentus seems to have a particular hunger for relationships. During rest periods, bonds are more obvious, not only in who chooses to rest with whom, but also in the exchange of affectionate gestures and intimacies. Many, like passing the head under the other's neck, or standing parallel but reversed, or reaching to smell the other's groin, derive from the foal's sequence of movements and suckling. These lose their function at weaning, but are retained in modified form to express affection. The bonds that interlink to keep a band together vary with age, hormonal state, and individual life history. From that first exclusive bond with their mothers, foals extend their social feelings as they become more able to feed themselves. As adolescents, they experiment widely, learning the subtlety and variety of social interaction. Before settling into more permanent relationships as adults raising their own foals. Eki takes the opportunity to reaffirm her bond with her sister Ispi, who she doesn't take any notice of most of the time. Though it probably affected Ispi's decision to join this band, and Peachy followed her. Horses' lives and choices are shaped by their affections. That's how they can find peace and security together. Stallions, who are so active most of the time, need to dream to sort out their impressions, and they can only do so lying flat for a few minutes. While Itaya rests, both her mother and her daughter adopt the same head position in relation to her. Pincho hears a neigh, but looks to Zabal to investigate, while he stays with the family. Two stallion bands are rather special. They arise in different ways, but this is a common solution. One stallion staying with the mares while the other deals with outside affairs. These two have moved from constant conflict through tolerance to a mutually agreed cooperation. The story of Zora's unrequited love ended happily after all. First Easpie, then her friend Beachy came back to him, perhaps because they felt uncomfortable in Cheetah's big band.